Hi, I'm Pav.
And I'm Neil.
And welcome to the Top 10 of Anything podcast.
Let's start the countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Has there ever been a bigger genre in the movies or on TV than the zombie genre? From gross-out horror to zomcoms, the zombie movie for decades has done everything from making us laugh to making us puke. Here's Neil with 10 zombie movie facts.
Thank you very much. What I will say is I've got zombie facts. Ooh. Right, here we go. Haitian. Clavius narcissi is the most famous example of a real-life zombie, a voodoo ritual combining powerful neurotoxin and hallucinogens, purportedly zombifying Narcissi, and his tale has been often repeated since.
Time to nut up or shut up.
The word zombie is thought to have been adapted from the African word Nzambi, meaning God. The Grand Zombie, or the Grand Serpent, was the father of all gods and appeared in the shape of a python.
Any zombies out there?
Zombie fans are called zombiephiles.
The chimps are infected.
Zombie law dictates that there are only two ways to kill a zombie: go for the brain or cut off the head.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Apt. Father of modern zombie, George A. Romero, is viewed as the creator of the modern zombie cinema. He has directed more zombie films than anyone in history.
I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul!
Some of the zombie makeup effects on Romero's seminal 1978 classic Dawn of the Dead was so evocative, it made cast members physically sick.
Those things are not people.
World Zombie Day takes place around the globe on the 8th of October. City centres worldwide become infested with the living dead as mass parades take place and raise money for charities.
That's my dad's birthday, that is.
You got a purry mouth!
The ancient Greeks were some of the first to fear zombies.
How's that for a slice of fried gold?
The first American zombie film was released in 1932 and it was called White Zombie.
Yeah, boy!
Right, I've got to try and pronounce this, quite a hard one. Kinematophobia is the fear of zombies.
Groovy.
Excellent.
Well done, Neil. Very good. Right, well, we've got through that bit. That was great. I feel that I'm just off kilter. I don't know whether it's because we're doing zombie movies.
Yeah.
But I just feel a little bit off kilter. But
are you out of your
here.
comfort zone?
Yeah, I feel like I am.
Yeah.
We've got
Not
one
a
person.
favorite.
One person to thank for that. It's TopHead Kristen. Hello, thank you very much for doing this one with us. I think this was your idea, wasn't it? Zombie movies.
It was my idea. I'm not going to lie. I love zombies.
I'm
Okay,
with you,
right.
Kirsten. I'm
So,
with you.
I said to Neil before we pressed record and before you joined us that there's a few zombie movies I like, but I'm not that hot on the genre. So I feel like I'm going to learn a lot from both of you tonight. So why do you like zombie movies then, Kirsten? Why is it your bag?
No, I don't know. I find it kind of funny, and my husband finds it hysterical that I'm just like fascinated. Like, I've watched all of The Walking Dead. I was probably like the last person to still actually watch the show to its finale, even though I would complain about like what happens in the winter, how do they get to the snow? So I dig into the plot holes, but I just something about it just fascinates me. And when they're well done, they're good.
Yeah. So are you into it because you find the stories compelling, or do you just do you like gross out stuff? Do you really like all that kind of
tend to like scary stuff, but something about zombies in particular. When we get near the end and when I tell you my number one, I can explain a little bit more.
Okay.
A little bit of a surprise.
That's cool. What about you, Neil? Because I know that you like gross out horror, don't you? You like the French and the.
Well, I mean, I like
kind of really bad
extreme horror. I do like extreme horror, but then
the zombies more cartoonish, isn't it?
Yeah, but I also like the dread that zombies bring. I like it when it's done well. I enjoy a great zombie comedy. I mean, when done well, they're very, very good. But yeah, I think It's the apocalyptic side where you have to rebuild and grow. I find it fascinating with this constant threat that you get. And if you look at, I mean, it happens with other films like 30 Days and 30 Nights. The same principle on that, where you're stuck and you've got to survive for those amount of times. I just find it fascinating and great to watch. But they're also quite often a reflection on society as well, aren't they? They always have this.
I think that's part of it. And I think that's why I was taking like the Walking Dead series when it was on, because of the whole idea that you have to rebuild society and what would you do? Would you survive? Yeah, that whole possibility has been very interesting.
I think also with recent sort of world history with the pandemic, also, especially like
The chimps are infected.
that kind of thing just shits you up now. It's something, oh God, this is like, it's not something that is just in a writer's mind. It's something that could potentially really happen. So the question, before we get into our top 10, Kirsten, how do you think you'd survive a zombie apocalypse? What do you think? Would you think you'd be okay?
I think I would. I grew up on a farm in Maine, so small town, having to learn how to chop my own wood, and I think I would be okay. For a while anyway. I know how to. We did this thing when I was in high school. It's called Outward Bound, and it was meant basically in Maine. They put you on a little island for a weekend. They gave us a gallon of water, a bag of stuff that they called gore. It was like trail mix, and a book on how to find food in the wild. And I had to survive for a whole weekend, and I did okay. I was only like 16 or 17 when I did it, so I have much more skills now.
Right, that's fair enough. Neil, do you think you'd survive okay?
I like to think I would. I mean, if it was the slow shuffling zombies, then I think I'd be all right. The running zombies, no.
Running ones, would be a different story.
I'm not going to be able to run that fast away from you. Just eat me.
I would get bitten straight away. I'd want to go and get bitten straight away.
Would you?
Yes, because the zombies have got no cares in the world. They're just wandering around. They're fine. It's all the living people that are the ones that have got cares and worries. They're the ones that are shitting themselves and wondering how they're going to survive. Those zombies are loving life. They're just wandering around looking for some. They haven't. You look at them. None of them have got a care in the world. They're not going to die unless they get their head stoved in. If they just look after themselves and maybe find something to just munch on every once in a while, they got no problems at all. So that's how I'm going to deal with the zombie apocalypse when it comes.
Come and get me. You'll be
I don't
like
want to get ripped
buffet.
apart. I just want to get just bitten in the arm, so that I still sort of come. I'm not going to have like my guts hanging out or one arm, or that's how I'm going to do it.
But if they get a taste, they're going to fly in, aren't they? You're just
well, I mean, to be fair, I am a banquet meal. I must admit.
Unless you stick your hand out your letterbox,
I'm going to feed a lot of zombies. I am.
Stick your hand out the letterbox. Just nibble on there, will you?
Yeah, just nibble on that. That's fine.
Or
okay, right. Let's get on with the job in hand. Kirsten, what's your number 10 zombie movie?
It's funny because my number 10 is World War Z, which a lot of people, I remember when it came out, a lot of people were like, oh, this movie's terrible. I guess it was one of those cases where people really liked the book better than the movie. And I actually held off on watching it for a while. And funny enough, after we had picked this topic, I saw that it was on one day and I was home by myself and I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And it was really good. That one scared me because it was the idea that like they responded to noise and that they were like climbing over the walls and like the whole part where they're in Israel and then they're like calling people to prayer. And I'm like, don't, it was one of those where I was just so on the edge of my seat watching it because, these, innocent people, like we as the audience member knew something bad was going to happen, but all these people were like, yay, we did it. And I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And that movie had a lot of that. And the fact that it started off very quickly, like with the story, there was no like build up. It just like suddenly happened. It was, I thought it was really good. I was surprised by how much I liked it.
Yeah. That's my number 2, by the way.
Oh, really?
That's my number 2. Yeah. And it had a lot of trouble, when it was made. I think they had to rewrite the script and reshoot a lot of the movie. I haven't read the book. I've listened to the audiobook, and the audiobook is fantastic. It's loads of different stories, so it's not quite how the movie is. But yeah, I'm the same as you. From the start, you're just as confused as everybody else, as like Brad Pitt and his family knowing what the hell's going on. And there's that moment when all the zombies, all the infected, are all trying to, like ants, are all climbing up over the wall, and then they just like jump off the wall like lemmings, don't they? They don't care. Oh, it is frightening. I mean, just to say, we may spoil movies tonight, just to let you know. I mean, there's not going to be any new movies, but we may spoil the moment when Brad Pitt is up. He's just infected himself with some disease to see if that is going to be the cure, and that zombie comes up right up close to him and is sort of like chattering his teeth. Oh my god! But Brad Pitt is fantastic in that. He's so good in that movie.
It is. It's a good movie. It didn't make my top 10, unfortunately.
It didn't. Okay.
But the book is fantastic. Max Brooks, isn't it?
Max Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great book. But there's been rumored for years, and it's still rumored that they're going to make a sequel because David Fincher was involved.
Indeed.
There's been all sorts of people involved, and I really would like to see a sequel to it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people said about the movie though that it climaxed too quickly because the ending sort of wasn't up there with the rest of the movie.
Well, that was all to do with the rewrites. If there was a thing, if you notice, the helicopter, not pilot, but like the co-pilot, is Matthew Fox from Lost.
Oh yeah,
when he played Jack Shepherd in Lost, he had a whole other plot where he was, I think, having an affair with Brad Pitt's wife, and that all got cut out because they thought Brad Pitt had died, his character had died, so his wife had sort of moved on, if you like, or something, got close, and you know. And
do you think they cut that out because of The Walking Dead? Because obviously that was a huge plot point in The Walking Dead, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So if you notice. There's some people that have gone, why is Matthew Fox playing like an extra? Because he's hardly in the movie, but he's
hardly in it at all.
But he had a massive part that they had to sort of cut down and run right out. So
I must watch it again. I haven't seen it for a while.
It's such a good movie. Go on then, Neil, your number 10.
So I said I like a zombie comedy. This is one of the greats. It's Return of the Living Dead. Dan O'Bannon, who wrote Alien, his movie from about 1986. It's a great thing. It just starts with two warehouse workers who've got this barrel that gets opened and it has a zombie in. They chop it up, take it to the morgue, to a cemetery. This is only the beginning of the movie. Burn it to get rid of the evidence. Unfortunately, the smoke goes up, the rain comes down, and everything in the graveyard comes out. Now, if you've never seen this one and you like a good zombie horror, a zombie comedy, it is fantastic. It's gruesome. There are creepy bits in it, but it's just so much fun. It really is. And the effects are so fun. Practical effects. We all love a good practical effects in a zombie movie. So I'd highly recommend it. Well written. If you know anything about Dan O'Bannon and his writing, he does.
I've never
heard of it. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, it's fun. They actually made, I think, 3 sequels to it. I think it went up to number 4. The third one got quite dark and quite nasty, but the rest of the others are quite good. Yeah, but the original is just pure laughter.
So what year was it?
I think it's 1986. It might be a bit later, 1985. 86.
Do you know if it's on like any streaming services to watch, or?
I really don't know, to be honest. I've still got the DVD.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay, Grandad.
Yeah. I have seen it,
I have stuff on DVD still.
Yeah. I have seen it when we used to have the horror channel, which seems to have vanished. They did show it on there. I mean, it is an 18. It's a pure or an R-rated one.
Yeah.
It's pure full on. It's not sort of as friendly as some of the others, but it's so much fun. It really is. And some old classic, Hal Holbrook or whatever his name is in it, and some of the old actors.
Is he?
Yeah. It's fun. It is really good fun. And if you're a fan of a zombie movie, you'll appreciate it.
I'm gonna have to look for that then.
I'm gonna have to look for it.
It could be fun. Okay, my number 10. Right now, I'm gonna be totally clean with this. Is there some in my top 10 that I've only probably watched once, and I can remember really enjoying them at the time. But like I say, I'm not a massive zombie movie fan. So there's movies on my top 10 that I love. I absolutely would be in, my top 50 movies of all time. But there are some. This is one of them that I watched a couple of years ago. I think it's from 2020. I think it's #Alive. I don't know if you've seen it now. I think it's a Korean movie, and it starts like every other zombie movie. All of a sudden there's this infection, this outbreak, and it's basically about a story of someone that is stuck in their apartment, and they're trying to sort of get out, and they realize that it's better for them just to stay where they are. And then they start communicating with somebody over in another tower block. And they're trying to sort of communicate. I think they end up getting some rope to each other to give each other food. And then it's basically their story. Yeah, it's basically their story of how they... And then there's obviously gangs of humans that are just not nice humans, as there normally is in these apocalyptic times. And it's just their story. And it's all interconnected with family members and stuff. And I will be honest, I can't remember loads more about it. All I can remember is watching it and remembering that the zombie moments were like really, really intense.
Right.
And that like a lot of the stuff didn't seem to... Some of the times you can read what's going to happen in zombie movies because there's a certain formula and you know that, right, that's going to happen, so that's going to happen. And there was a lot of moments in it that I thought I wasn't expecting that. And it's very rare that even a movie of 2020, that there's a time when a movie will say to you, I wasn't expecting that. So I would recommend it. I would probably recommend myself to watch it again, let alone anybody else. But hashtag alive, from 2020, really good.
But Asian zombie films are Asian zombie stuff is fantastic because I've watched a lot of the series, like All of Us Are Dead. Have you seen that one, Kristen?
No, I have. It's one of those I have to wait till my kid goes to bed because if he watches me, he likes to come in at night and like cuddle with me in bed while I'm watching TV, and I have to pick.
Right. Well, this might because anyone's game in the Asian market.
It's definitely on my list to watch. I know. I'm aware. But
I think the top one for me was Kingdom. It was like Game of Thrones with zombies in a sense. I mean, it wasn't so sexualized as Game of Thrones. It was a clever thing set back in like the 1700s, 1800s when it was old school samurais and a zombie attack, and that's really good. That's a really good one.
I think I watched the first episode of that and never really got any further forward.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. But good choice. I'm gonna have to watch it now.
Wonderful. Okay, Kirsten, your number 9, please.
My number 9 is Planet Terror, which is
my number 7.
I love that movie. Robert Rodriguez. Anyway, his movies. I love it because it's so campy. But it's still scary, but it's still campy, and it really made me. Oh, sorry, that's my cat. But his movies always crack me up. But the whole the machine gun leg, all of it, just all of it. Yeah,
it was all part of the whole Grindhouse thing with Quentin Tarantino, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. I loved both of those movies together, but it was funny too because I'd seen it multiple times, and then I realized I'm like, oh wait. Planetary, that's zombies, and it's got people in it that you don't expect. You think that certain people are going to live, and they don't, and it's like, oh wow. So he definitely surprises you with who lives and who dies in that one, and it makes me laugh too because it's just like so over the top campy. And I loved that.
Yeah,
it's a great.
Am I right in remembering that? Isn't it? When Bruce Willis is on the screen, the film deteriorates and all bubbles up.
They do the bubbles and the loop, the burn, wasn't it? What they call it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a massive flop, wasn't it? The whole Grindhouse thing. Yeah. It didn't really take off. I thought it was such a great idea.
Yeah, it was a great idea.
Yeah, they did the trailers to the movies that didn't exist in there as well.
Have you got a copy of Grindhouse? Have you literally the proper version with where they're about?
I have both the theatrical release and the Blu-rays of the full length of both of those movies. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I actually, because I was in graduate school when that came out, so I did not get to go see it in the movie theater. And so when it did come out on DVD, I watched the full length movie, and I did not realize that the theatrical release of both of those in the theater was a lot shorter. I actually enjoy the full length one.
Right. Yeah, they are great. But we never had the choice in this country. They only released them as 2 separate full movies, but I have now got the Grindhouse on it, and I love it like that. It's really like watching something you ripped out of the 70s VHS.
It's just a lot of fun as well. It's just so like you said, it's campy, but it's got some really gruesome moments in it.
Oh yeah, it's very gruesome, but knowing how Robert Rodriguez loves to make his movies like on a budget, you just know that he had a lot of fun with that too. Yeah. So
completely agree. Yes, your number 9. So that means both of yours and both of ours are in our top 10. I reckon we've got the same ones in our top 10, Kirsten.
Not bad.
Go on then, Neil, your number 9.
It is Rec, the Spanish version, not the remake.
That's my number 4. I love that
Okay.
movie so
It's
much.
such a good movie. Don't ever watch the remake. I always tell people watch the original Spanish
the original
language.
is the best. I hate it. I have to admit, I hate it when American movie theater, movie companies, whatever, when they remake something that's as good, especially something like Wreck. I'm like, no, you can't do any better than this. That movie terrified me.
Yeah. I watched it. I went to the cinema to see it and thoroughly blown away. And I thought, wow. That's a real, the found footage or real footage film that you want to see in a long time. And then I was married at the time, and I made my wife. I got it when it came out on DVD. And made her watch it. She wasn't very happy. It scared her. The end bit freaked her out in the top of the in the apartment building.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a found footage movie, isn't it? It's in the realm of
Spanish
Blair
Fire
Witch.
Brigade, isn't it?
Yeah.
Going in to do the building, and it just goes mental.
So I think
That's
they did two sequels, or was it just the one?
Just the one, which
Just
is okay. Yeah, follows straight on after, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And just expanded it a bit. It's all right. It lost a lot of the tension that you had just trapped in a building.
Yeah, it was close to being in my top 10 because I can remember watching that. I've only watched that one once, and it isn't because I just haven't had time. I've just not wanted to watch that again. It was just too much. That is not a sort of movie you can go, I'm feeling like I want to watch a movie. Let's put Wreck on. I'm going to put that on. It's not something you can enjoy watching.
Feel good movie.
It's not. No. Yeah, you don't want to be just there with that on in the background. Yeah, you don't. That's it. You don't want your son to be cuddling you in bed.
Not that
with that on, that's for sure.
Well, imagine that end bit with a young person.
Oh my God! Yeah,
terrify them.
Yeah.
You can never see it again.
Yes. My number 9 is one of the classics. It's Night of the Living Dead. It's the original one. For our Patreon top heads, such as you, Kirsten, on the video playlist, the whole movie is on there. So if you want to watch it, you can watch it on the video playlist. And I think it was Neil that said to me to watch it. And I can't remember where I did watch it. It might have been on. It was on some streaming service. And I was genuinely surprised because I thought, it's going to be an older film. It's going to be really tacky. But right up to the end, I was like mesmerized and surprised by little twists and just how I mean, it's not gory as such, but how unsettling it was. And I think the black and white of it all just makes it that little bit more unsettling.
It starts at the beginning, isn't it? Coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah.
Right from there is
Coming to get you, Barbara.
and to think how cheap it was made. It was in and out of my top 10. I'll explain why it didn't make my top 10 later, because I'm an absolute avid fan of this movie.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's
same.
And the fact that it's got even relevant today, the social commentary of what at the time obviously was more prevalent then, but it's still relevant today.
Yes.
And brave George Romero, just what a brave director he really was for his time in his casting and everything.
Yeah,
Brilliant,
I'm surprised. I thought one of you might have had that in your top 10, but there you go.
That one it was in, then it was out, then it was in.
Yeah.
Made some other choices.
Fair enough.
I'll have an explanation later on in the list as to why.
Yeah. Okay. Kirsten, your number 8 then, please.
My number 8 is a Mega Man, the one with Charlton Heston. I know they've made I Am Legend, and they've done the one with Will Smith, but there was just something at the time. Charlton, I can't imagine. I'm too young to know him when he was super popular then, but for me, it was the whole idea. It was these hippy dippy zombies like, hey, man. I mean, it does have its moments where it's kind of scary and dark. But I just remember when they're introducing the zombies in a Mega Man, I'm like, what is this? I thought it funny. And I know I wasn't supposed to find it funny, but I was watching it as a person, I was in my 20s, and it was, at that point, probably, 25 years old. So it was, to me, kind of funny, although dark. And I love that. I've watched that movie so many times.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. It's been a while, but I haven't seen it recently. Has it aged well? Because it wasn't sort of looking that well.
Really, I mean, Charlton Heston was really over the top in his acting, and it's just so. And I find that in a lot of the movies that he did back in the day. But it was, for me, it was the whole, like, the zombies standing outside, but they're like, hey man, come out. They're like yelling at him to come out and stuff.
So what did you think of the remake, Kristen?
I have to be honest, I haven't seen the remakes. I haven't, because I love the one with Charlton Heston in it so much. It's one of those I didn't want to spoil my view. So,
I mean,
but I've heard that the
yeah.
remake is more serious.
Oh, a lot more. But it
Yeah.
was really, I thought the Will Smith one was really good until they showed the actual creatures, shall we call them?
Yeah.
And then they CGI'd them all. I was so cross. They didn't need to CGI them, and they looked awful because it could have been a fantastic film. And of course, they changed the infamous ending.
The thing is,
So
like,
you can see the original ending.
as Neil knows, I don't read many books, but one of the books I have read is I Am Legend, and I read it after watching the Will Smith movie, and I thought, well, why did they change? Why didn't they just do what's in the book? Because the ending in the book is so good.
Yeah,
that it's like such a gut punch. And I mean, we may spoil movies, but I don't want to spoil books because I just don't want to. But, but
well, I got an answer, isn't it? They did answer it. Because you can see the original ending, which has it tells you exactly on about Will Smith's character. Shall I just spoil it? The book?
Yeah, but that still isn't the ending that's in the book.
No, but that's as close as they were going to get, and the test audiences hated it. So they scared and shied away.
What do they know? Bloody test audiences, for goodness sake!
Yeah,
but they're supposed to be doing a sequel to the Will Smith I Am Legend, aren't they?
Are they?
Apparently so.
I didn't
Will
know
Smith
that
is alive.
Yeah, even a Mega Man, the Charlton Heston one, was a remake of something that had been done earlier, which I didn't realize until I was, looking up. Like, yeah, I was kind of surprised by that.
They just need to make it as the book.
Yes,
that's all they need to do, and they'll get the perfect story told.
I think so, absolutely. Go on then, Neil, your number 8.
Reanimator. I don't know who's seen this one. Jeffrey Combs, Stuart Gordon movie. He went on to make Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. This is fun, shocking for its time, gruesome as hell, and also scary in places. I love it. It's what more do you want than a zombie carrying his own head around talking to people in that little tray of blood?
It's been a while since I've seen it. I know I have, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it is it's gore. It's a gory horror. It's known as gory horror. But I say to anybody that hasn't seen it, it's so imaginative and it's so much fun. Just buckle down and enjoy it. And Jeffrey Combs, what a horror icon he is. He's always as creepy as, I almost said a swear word, I won't, in case. He's always as creepy as hell. He really is. Yeah, watch it and enjoy it.
It's one of those movies I can always remember sort of as a teenager that it was like a rite of passage to watch it. It was like that. The Exterminator was another one. What was The Burning was another one. All this sort of like they were like borderline video nasties.
Well, The Burning wasn't it?
Well, The Burning was a video nasty, but it was always like Reanimate. Have you seen Reanimate? I've never seen it. I still haven't seen it to this day.
Oh, you need to watch it because it's held
You need
up
to watch
so
it,
well.
I don't think I've seen it since I was a teenager, but I know I have seen it.
Oh right, it couldn't have aged very well, surely.
No, it has. It's super.
Has it?
Yeah,
Okay.
some of the practical effects. There's a scene where they're taking a guy's brain out. It's all shown, and that is as gruesome now watching it as when I remember watching it for the first time.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
Right,
I videoed it. I recorded it off of.
Come on, great granddad! Video now.
I know. I recorded it.
In another 10 minutes, you'll be on wax disc.
I know. I've got it on VHS. No, I'm kidding.
I did have it on VHS actually, not anymore. But yeah, I've so yeah, literally last year I rewatched it and
right,
I so enjoyed it. I've kept it on the planner, as it were.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah,
If it
so
pops
much
up,
fun.
I'll stick it on the list then. Okay. My number 8 is 28 Days Later.
Oh, that's my number 6.
Oh, that's supposed to be the
That one's
monkey
my number
noise.
6 as well. 28
So
Days Later is my number 6.
Okay.
That
That was supposed to be the monkeys are infected song, and it ended up being Jingles. I don't know where that came from.
The happy-go-lucky tune of 28 Days Later.
So obviously Danny Boyle, I really was surprised because I remember seeing the trailer for this and that sort of shocking shot of Cillian Murphy just on the streets of London and there's nothing around. And it obviously starts a little bit like that's the scene in Walking Dead when Rick is walking around the hospital, not no one around. But I was genuinely just like the whole of it, and even 28 weeks later was the same kind of thing. That didn't make my top 10, but it just seemed to be a different way of telling a story in that genre. And Danny Boyle is great as a director at things like that. So I'm a
big fan. I was going to say, and the guerrilla filmmaking used, because he didn't have permission to film in London.
Yeah,
so they were getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, quickly filming a couple of hours on the street and running away.
Oh wow! I didn't realize they did that, but that makes sense though. That the feel of the movie is very much like that. Yeah.
But I also think it would have been, to me, a lot higher in my list if I just find, and I still find it to this day, the bit when they get to the army place at the end loses all the tension, and then it doesn't need the army bit. But if they'd have ended it with the start of 28 months or 28 weeks later, sorry, with the chase with Robert Carlyle, man, that would have been a movie, wouldn't it? God, blimey, that would have worked.
Yeah. And I haven't seen it for a few years, but I think if watching it now, it would feel a whole lot different with the pandemic. I just think it would hit home a lot harder, and the fact that,
and it's terrifying as well.
It is terrifying.
Those bits going through the underground in the car park. Oh, it is quite, and I don't get scared easy, but even that put the EBGBs in me.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were fast, I think that was the first time I had seen in a movie where the zombies were fast.
Yes.
That really scared me.
Wasn't it Alex Garland who wrote it? You know, the guy that wrote The Beach and that. I think he did.
I think it was.
If I'm right, he came out and said, we mustn't call them zombies. We have to call them infected. We're like, no, piss off. It's zombies.
No, but it makes sense. Yeah, Alex Garland wrote it. Yeah. I mean, you know, if you got fast zombies, then I got no choice whether I'm going to get bitten or not, because I'm not the fastest. You know, I'm going to be the person that other people are going to put in the way of themselves to make sure that they're all right. That's what I would be.
Just have to be faster than one person.
Exactly. Or the strength to chuck someone over your shoulder behind you. That's all you need.
Which would be me at the moment, with me trying to run away on me crutches.
Oh.
Yeah. Just come eat me.
That is true. Oh, Neil, bless you. So that's my number 8. So, Kirsten, your number 7, please.
Okay, I hope I pronounce it correctly. Train to Busan. Is it Busan or
Busan? That's my number 6.
Oh, that's my number 4.
Really so good. So good. Yeah,
it sort of reinvigorated the zombie thing for me. Watching that. That was exciting. Tension.
Was so exciting. Yes. And I think I do believe that Korean filmmakers just really make great scary movies.
Well, they're not frightened to go against the grain. That's the problem. They haven't got the studios dictating what they can and can't show. And the same bit. Just the simple fact of trying to get your child back and stuck on a train. It's
It's horrifying. It's like every time you think something good's going to happen, it gets worse.
I love that movie. Yeah, that's why it went high in my list.
It's very rare that you get a movie where everybody is saying you've got to watch this movie, it's fantastic, and then you sit and watch it, and then when it finishes you go, that was fantastic. Because 9 times out of 10 when people have hyped something up, they hype it up so much that it doesn't meet the expectation that you have when you sit and watch it. That movie, I can remember when it finished, and I genuinely I don't think I breathed for like the hour and 50 minutes that it was on, and then breathed at the end and went, that was really good.
There was a sequel, wasn't there?
I don't know whether there was a sequel. They were thinking of doing a sequel.
I thought there was a sequel, because maybe there wasn't. But it wasn't called something. It's something else. I can't remember now. But it's certainly not as impactful as Train to Busan. Which,
so good.
Yeah, it is so good. It really is. But of course, again, there was rumors Hollywood was going to remake it. Thankfully, they vanished because they obviously realized they can't just beat the original.
You can't make it. Sometimes you just have to leave it alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Okay, then, Neil, you're number 7.
Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. Has anybody seen this?
I think I have.
You
I've
remember
seen
the
some of his.
scene with?
Was it one of his first ones?
It was his second movie, but it's the
Yeah.
one where the guy ties the lawnmower to his chest at the end when he's being bombarded by the zombies, and he just walks around splaying them all out with the. I mean, probably one of the most glorious films ever made.
He makes some really gory stuff. I know there was one. I'm not sure if it was this one. There was a Peter Jackson where like some house explodes and it like shoots off into space. I have no idea if that's that or something else.
That's Bad Taste. That's where the guy is Peter Jackson himself falls, cracks his head open, and his head keeps flapping out, and his brain falls out, and he has to put it back in. And he ties a belt round his head to keep the flap. That's Bad Taste. Brain Dead has the famous scene that turns most people's stomach, where the person's been bitten on the arm by this rat thing, and it's obviously like a big spot or lump, and it bursts at the dinner table straight in the other woman's drink, and then she goes ahead and drinks it.
Oh.
And obviously gets him. Yeah,
We apologise to listeners and viewers if they are having their tea while they're listening and watching,
especially if they're eating yogurt.
Now while you're eating breakfast or something.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That is probably up there with probably one of the bloodiest films. But it becomes. I mean, it's gory, but it becomes almost comedic, especially when Peter Jackson's lit,
cartoony, and
it's great fun. It is so much fun. It really is.
Okay.
Never seen them, Pav?
I've never seen it. No, I've never seen it. I've seen clips. I've seen that lawnmower clip. I've definitely seen that bit.
I think I have. If I have, it's been a long, long time since I've seen it. Because after like all the Lord of the Rings movies came out, I was like on purpose looking for more stuff that he had done, and it's just so different.
It is, especially if you go into Meet the Feebles. Ooh,
yeah,
that's a dirty film.
What kind of
not that it makes you feel dirty after watching it. It's so grubby and grimy.
Right, okay.
Yeah, not a blue movie, young man.
Okay, all right then. I'll scrub that one from my list then. I'm not gonna. Right. So my number 7 was Planet Terror. Kirsten, your number 6 was 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Neil, your number 6 was 28 Days Later. My number 6 was Train to Busan.
Ooh, blimey.
So we're at this point now.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
Yes, Kirsten hasn't done it. She hasn't done this with us yet, have you? We're doing a quiz, Kirsten. So it's borrowed from a very popular podcast. We're going to do 3 questions each. Well, we're going to do a question each. First one to 3 points. If the person gets it wrong, it goes over to the other person for a bonus point. So, Kirsten, you are our guest. Would you like to go first or second?
First, sure.
Okay. In the original Night of the Living Dead, where did Johnny drive his sister?
School. I can't remember.
Is not right. Neil?
It'd be the graveyard.
It was to the graveyard.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
At the start. Neil, your first question. What snack was Woody Harrelson's character Tallahassee obsessed with in Zombieland?
Twinkies.
It was. Okay. Let me see. 1, 2. Yes, Kirsten, you need this one. You need this one. In Shaun of the Dead, Shaun attacked zombies in his back garden with a cricket bat. What did his mate Ed use?
This one. He used 45s. 45 records. Little records. What? Wasn't he doing?
No, he didn't. No. Neil?
Well, I was with... Wasn't it the records where they were throwing them to the music at them?
No.
What did he use then?
It was with a shovel.
Well, for crying out loud. It's on the poster, isn't it?
So Shaun had the bat cricket bat and Ed had the shovel.
That's right.
Okay. Neil, it's your go. What year did the remake of Romero's Night of the Living Dead come out?
1990.
Is correct. Well done, Neil. Oh.
Wasn't it directed by Tom Savini, who did a lot of the special effects by...
Love Tom Savini. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
He's got his own film school, hasn't he now? Yeah.
Fair play.
I'd love to join that and learn how to do all those effects.
I've got a couple of other questions, so we'll just go through these. First one, to just shout them out if you know them. Who played the HWO Doctor in World War Z?
Oh, Kristen, you just watched it.
I know. Well, it's like a couple months
There's a clue in the question. Who? Doctor Who?
Who was the doctor?
Was it I don't know. I don't
No.
know. I don't
Peter
should.
Capaldi.
It was Peter Capaldi.
That's right. I'm trying to remember which doctor it was.
It's weird because like in the credits it says who Doctor Peter Capaldi, and then he became
so funny.
Doctor Who.
Became the Doctor.
Yes. Who directed the Dawn of the Dead remake in 2004?
Oh, was that Danny Boyle?
It wasn't Danny Boyle, no. Neil?
Zack Snyder.
It was Zack Snyder. And Bruce Campbell starred as Ash on the original Evil Dead movies. What was Ash's surname?
I was just looking at those. I can't remember.
I know it as well. I can't remember. I do know it.
No, it was Ash Williams. Ash Williams.
Williams.
There you go. Well done, Neil. That's another win on the board for you. You're in a
I've had 2 wins out of the
Two
whole time
wins.
we've been doing the quizzes.
Well done.
Well, sorry to
Well
have to beat
done.
you, Kristen, but it
Okay,
makes me
that's all right.
but it does make me
My
feel
last day
a
of
lot
school
better.
was yesterday. Quizzing is kind of.
Oh yeah, you're all quizzed out. You're all quizzed out. Yeah, you don't want to be asking or answering any more questions, not for a while. Okay then, Kirsten, what's your number 5, please?
Zombieland.
Yay, that's my number 4.
Zombieland.
So do I.
It's a good combination of humor. I love Woody Harrelson and the whole thing with Bill Murray in it. That movie makes me laugh so much. I have not seen Zombieland Double Tap. It's been really hard to find.
I believe it's on Netflix now, but you're not missing much.
Oh, is it not as good? So it
is disappointing.
For it.
It is disappointing.
Okay.
Stick
Maybe
with
that's
the
why it's
original.
hard to
Don't.
find.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the greatest starts to a movie as well. The whole thing where it's showing all the different super slow motion, all the zombies chasing each other, and it's one of those movies like a lot of really good movies that then the sequels don't match to it. Yeah. It was that lightning in a bottle. They had a great cast, great story. Just like it was something completely different. The different stories, like what was it like? Not chapters like Death of the Week kind of things going on. It was such a good film.
It's top 10 or top 5 zombie to survive a zombie.
Kills,
kills.
Yeah. Woody Harrelson was fantastic in it. It was
It went into my 10 and out again all week. But
really?
Yeah, I love it. There's no two ways. Like I said, I could have easily had a top 20, and I love them all equally as my little children.
Yeah. I mean, we're not telling you Kirsten, not to watch Zombieland.
Okay.
But
I am.
Okay, good to know. Well, it's been hard to find here. I don't know if it's like a regional thing, but I have not been able to find it on any streaming. So been difficult.
I got to the end of it and I was so they left it too long. They should have done if they were going to do a sequel, it should have been pretty much instant after the other one. They left it too long. And people got
it was going to be
clever.
a TV series, wasn't it? They were going to do a TV series, which
probably would have worked.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. Go on then, Neil. You're number 5.
So it's Shaun of the Dead.
Oh.
Yes, it's number 5 for me. Love it. I think it's fantastic. It's great to get a British perspective on a zombie movie. Well written, funniest. I still think it's the best of the Cornetto trilogy.
I do.
After watching them all recently, it's definitely the strongest. What more can you say? It's genius from start to finish. And I also found it really shocking. I'm not going to repeat the line. Is the opening line by what was his name in it? Ed in the pub.
Yes.
We weren't used to hearing that anywhere, were we?
Well, not as an opening line for a character.
And especially not in a 15 movie, because in our country, whenever you put that word in, it nearly automatically put it to an 18.
Yeah.
Which is stupid being just a word. But yeah, when I went to the cinema and I sat watching it, I was like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
But it just set me up for the rest of it and loved it all.
Yeah. Are you a fan, Kirsten?
Yes, you've got red on you.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. That's the one thing I love about all of those, the Simon Pegg and why am I blanking on the director? Edgar Wright. There's so many different like little callbacks and clever little things and things in the background that don't mean anything to first of, but then later on is something that they use or something that they need. I love all that kind of interconnected stuff, and they are so good at it. They're so good at using music you know, for certain plot points and stuff as well. It's
hilarious when they meet themselves. That is a joke that works so well good in that movie.
So good.
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, my number 5. Now we did have on the honorable mentions. Where was it? Let me see. Stu Grant, hello Stu, did actually say that you can't have Evil Dead because they're deadites. They're not zombies.
Yeah, I love the Evil Dead movies, but I didn't count those because they're not really zombies.
I'm having them in.
Okay.
What number, Pam?
They were definitely on my I love it list. I've seen Evil Dead the musical, so
oh, have you?
Sure, I was trying to follow the rules.
Right. Well, I've got Evil Dead 2 at number 5.
Yeah.
And I got that at number 3.
You got that at number 3. Okay.
Yeah, you look up zombie movies and it pretty much comes up straight away on all your Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, all the review sites. So it's obviously considered a zombie movie.
I mean, I don't think that you'd have modern day zombie movies if you didn't have Evil Dead. Plot point, and from what Stu says, I completely respect what he says, because if it was something like a Star Warsy thing like that, and I just brushed it off and went, oh well, I'm gonna, you know, I would be angry as someone if they said, well, no, that isn't classed as that. That's that. So I totally respect you, Stu.
We do, Stu. Yeah.
But for me, they are people that are possessed, and they're not their usual selves. And I mean.
And they want to
the way they get killed,
well.
do they get their heads chopped off? I can't remember, but
and also factually, they're not all deadites because he kills his girlfriend. I cut her head off with a spade and buried her. She comes back out of the grave, gets her head, so surely she's a zombie.
It's true. Didn't think of it that way.
That's it.
They would definitely be my honorable mentions. I love those. Like I said, I haven't seen Evil Dead the musical. It cracked me up so much.
Has anybody seen the new one? Because I haven't yet. Because I didn't really enjoy the 2013 one. I didn't.
It's supposed to be very, very good. It's supposed to be very, very good. But
not very scary, they say, but very sort of gruesome.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen it yet.
And what about the TV series? If we... Because that goes back to your original three Evil Dead movies.
Yeah, I watched the first couple of episodes. I need to watch it before they take it off of. I think it's on Netflix, isn't it, or is it Amazon?
Yeah, it is so good.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell has never been
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. You're gonna love him in this. Then he is just pure Ash, and it is pure Ash TV series. That's all it is. Right. Ash versus the Evil Dead. Get it. Watch.
Okay, I will.
And even Sam Raimi directs a couple of episodes. Yeah.
Well, there you go then. So that's the number 5. So Kirsten, you had Wreck for your number 4.
Number 4, yeah.
Neil, you had Train to Busan as number 4. Yeah. I had Zombieland at number 4. So we're back to you, Kirsten, with your number 3, please.
I have Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 Dawn of the Dead, as my number 3. It was one of those, again, you always think there's going to be some hope, but there's no hope. It ends up being kind of sad. And also for me, I went to college in Pittsburgh, and they filmed most of this at the Monroeville Mall, which is in Pittsburgh. So it was kind of cool to be able to go by a place that I actually knew. I'm like, hey, they made a zombie movie there. So it was kind of cool. I think the very first Dawn of the Dead or whatever, the very first one from the 60s, I think that was made outside of Pittsburgh too, but I could be wrong.
I think it is. The Night of the Living Dead. Yeah, I think
Night
it
of the
is.
Living Dead. Yeah,
I think it's Pittsburgh.
But definitely Dawn of the Dead. I was surprised by kind of how touching it was, but also just the whole Pittsburgh connection. I thought was kind of cool.
Right. Okay. Because this is where I get confused. So all of the movies that of the Dead, apart from obviously Shaun of the Dead, are they all derivatives of the George Romero Night of the Living Dead?
Well,
they're all sequels of that as such.
Pretty much, but then, like I said, you've got Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
And you've got movies of the dead, other things. So, but yeah, mostly.
So how many of the Romero ones have there been then?
So you've got Night.
I should have had that as another question, shouldn't
I?
Really?
Night, Dawn,
Day,
Land. There's the one based on the farm. There's one in the house.
Farm of the Dead.
Yeah, I can't remember what they called it now. Afternoon of the Dead, Evening of the Dead, and Lunchtime of the Dead.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but they progressively got worse.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, something that could be left, because we talk about Simon Pegg and that he's one of the extras in Land of the Dead when George A. Romero came back, wasn't he?
Right.
Him and Nick Frost got zombified just to be in that, which is cool.
That's a nice little touch there. Okay, yeah, because I mean, and then Dawn of the Dead, that was the one that Zack Snyder redid, because that's the one that's got that really mad opening with the girl that,
which is a fantastic. It's a good movie until the baby bit.
Yeah.
Except for the what? The baby bit.
What's the baby bit?
When she gives birth to a zombie baby.
Really?
Doesn't she? Yeah.
I knew there was something. I'm like, I couldn't remember why I didn't like the remake as much, and I'll bet that was part of it.
I mean, I quite enjoyed. I'm more of a fan of a slow zombie than a fast zombie. I do find when you've got loads of slow zombies, something very sinister about that. But it was quite clever that they changed it to the fast zombies and everything. But yeah, when I can't remember who it is who had the baby, but yeah, when they had the zombie baby, that lost me.
Okay.
I was like,
that sounds weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Neil, you said Evil Dead 2 for your number 3. I've got for my number 3 Evil Dead Army of Darkness.
Oh, great.
Now they are more deadites in this. But it is such a fun movie.
It's so funny.
It's just, and Bruce Campbell, I think that's his best. I mean, I love him in Bubba Hotep. That's my favorite Bruce Campbell movie. But this is my favorite Evil Dead movie because it is. Although it's not really got as much gore in it as Evil Dead 2, but it's just so much fun
and inventive.
It's a proper like medieval just romp, if you like. It's just a good old fashioned romp, and Bruce Campbell is just legendary in it.
And the effects look really good. You know, when you got the mini ashes all running around attacking him, which is fantastic. Obviously, he plays himself as the bad Ash as well.
When he's pouring boiling hot like water down his throat to kill one of the little ones that have gone down. If I can find that.
Which ending do you prefer? This is a question I'll ask you both. Which ending do you prefer?
I gotta remember, it's been a while since I've seen that one.
Because you get the ending, which I saw when I saw it originally at the cinema, where he's in the shopping, where he's back at the store working and
shop smart, smart,
and he jumps on the trolley shooting him, which is all I think is a great ending. And then there's the ending where he takes too many sips and shoots off into the future, doesn't he?
That's right. And then it's like apocalyptic landscape, and he's got his hair, and So I think I like the apocalyptic ending one.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's a nice little sort of downer ending to a mad film.
It is, although the shot one matches the TV series better, if that makes sense.
Oh, does it?
Okay. I'll have to watch Ash vs. Evil Dead. I'll have to watch them.
You got to watch it, Kristen. You're gonna love it. You'll thank me.
Okay, I will. I'm sure I will.
Okay, that was my number 3. So Kirsten, your number 2, please.
My number 2 is a classic for me. It's Night of the Comet, which is it takes place in LA, and it's supposed to be Halley's Comet coming through, and if you weren't like in something that was lead, it turned everyone into a zombie. And it is so over the top, campy, hysterical, because it's these 2 like valley girls who survive because they just happen. I think they like get kicked out of a party and end up sleeping in a shed. And they're doing things, so they're like shooting all these zombies, and they're in a mall, and it's just so many funny jokes as well as killing zombies, where they're like, oh, I can't believe we only have like a shotgun. Daddy would have bought us an Uzi. Just silly little jokes like that as they're trying to kill things. And like one sister's always telling the other, you always have to look both ways before you cross the street. And she's like, it's the end of the world. There's no one here. And then she goes to cross the street and almost gets run over by somebody. So it's just all those little inside jokes, but the whole idea that Halley's Comet has caused, because, it was put out in 86. So that was the year it came out when Halley's Comet was coming through, 86, 87. And the idea that it's something like that could turn the whole world into zombies it was so over the top, hysterical to me.
I've got homework now. I'm going to have to watch it. So it was 86, was it? Who was it?
Never
Night of the Comet.
That movie before at all.
It is so over the top.
We like over the top.
So funny. It's bad, but also good.
Well, that's fine.
I'm just
Who's in it?
seeing the trailer on IMDb, and it looks a very 80s movie.
Yes,
Does
it's
it?
very 80s.
Very
Yeah. It's all
80s.
my favorite whole line, like, oh, Daddy would have got us Uzis. It always makes me laugh.
Who's in it, pal?
Let me see. You've got Catherine Mary Stewart, Kelly Maroney, Robert Beltran, who was in some Star Trek thing, I think, by the looks of it. Sharon Farrell, Mary Warrenov, Jeffrey Lewis, Peter Fox.
Oh, Jeffrey Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, a
Jeffrey
lot of
Lewis.
people weren't, I think at the time, not very well known. I know a few of the people that I saw in that ended up being like famous here on soap operas and stuff like that.
Okay.
Every Which Way
and
But Loose, Jeffrey Lewis. I didn't realise that's who it was.
Lewis's dad. There you are.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Really?
I'm learning stuff as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I didn't realise that was Juliette Lewis's dad.
Salem's Lot, of course, talking horror.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, great actor.
I didn't realise he was in The Devil's Rejects as well, but there you go.
Mm.
Well, there you go. We learn everything on this show. It's educational as well as something else. I don't know. Right then, Neil, you're number 2.
So it's George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. Now, this one, it's sort of up to the realism George Romero did in this one when they're stuck in is it a nuclear bunker? No, not nuclear, but a bunker in the midst of the sort of the epidemic of zombies going around. But they, of course, they're researching, scientifically experimenting on them. It's got one of the greatest openings as well when she's in that dream sequence walking towards the wall. Good shot for people who've never seen it. I won't tell you what it is, but be prepared. It starts as it means to go on. But it's the whole bit, when you find out that you've got the humans are the evil ones and really not the zombies, when you've got the evil army man, and what a great comeuppance he gets eventually. Just if you've never seen it, watch it, because the practical effects on this are very real. I mean, they said it was very smelly to film because they were using real guts, weren't they? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They used real animal guts in this one. There's a scene, and it still looks so gross now, is when the zombie comes to life. They've been obviously doing stuff, and he comes back to life and reawakens and rolls over, and his whole stomach and everything in it just empties out on the floor.
Again, apologies if you're eating your breakfast, and
especially if you're having offal.
Yes. Oh yeah, that breakfast of champions offal.
Yeah, kidneys.
Yes.
But it's a great movie. It's creepy yet not being terrifying. It doesn't. I mean, it's got a couple of jump scares. If you don't fall in love with Bub, that's all I'll say. It's something wrong with you, and if you'll if I do that, you'll understand. If you do.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen it, so I don't understand what that means.
Yeah, it's a great movie, Pav. I could lend you the trilogy. Actually. I could lend you the trilogy.
You could, but I've got nothing to play it on, have I? I have to rely on streaming, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, look, it's another one to add to the list, isn't it?
I always say you should see the 3 movies. It's probably the 3 greatest zombie movies. Just classic. You should always see Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, and Dawn of the Dead, and watch them.
As in the originals, you mean?
The originals. Yeah, don't watch the remake of Day of the Dead.
Right.
Jesus Christ, that's a bad film.
Okay.
Yeah, there's how you ruin a movie.
Fair enough.
It's got that woman out of American Pie and American Beauty. I can't think of her name now. She was in the movie Loser.
Suave?
Yeah.
Mina Suave. Suvari.
And she's in the remake, and it's
and
just
Nick Cannon, apparently. Yeah, Nick Cannon was in it as well.
Yeah, I didn't even.
I haven't seen the remake, so
I turned it off. I genuinely turned it off. Didn't bother.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. My number 2 was World War Z. So before we reveal our number 1s, Kirsten, do you want to give us your countdown from 10 to 2? Neil will do the same, and then I'll do the same.
Okay. Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. My cat. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
My office also serves as a place for the cats to eat. So here we go.
That's fair enough.
World War Z, number 10.
Yep.
Number 9, Planet Terror. Number 8, Omega Man. Number 7, Train to Busan. Number 6, 28 Days Later. Number 5, Zombieland. Number 4, Wreck. Number 3, Dawn of the Dead, 1978. Number 2, Night of the Comet.
Wonderful. Neil?
So, number 10, I had Return of the Living Dead. At number 9, Wreck. At number 8, Reanimator. Number 7, Brain Dead. Number 6, 28 Days Later. Number 5, Shaun of the Dead. Number 4, Train to Busan. Number 3, Evil Dead 2. And number 2, Day of the Dead.
Lovely. And mine is number 10, #Alive. 9, the original Night of the Living Dead. 8, 28 Days Later. 7, Planet Terror. 6, Train to Busan. 5, Evil Dead 2. 4, Zombieland. 3, Evil Dead Army of Darkness. Sorry, Stu. And number 2, World War Z. So, Kirsten, what is your number 1 zombie movie?
Okay, so this is where I wore a sweatshirt.
One of your famous T-shirts.
Yes, it's Shaun of the Dead.
Yay, that's my number 1 too. That's my number 1.
I have. So here in the States, you can get what they call vanity license plates on your car. So I've got Red on You on my license plate.
Nice.
And I've got a little like pocket sticker on my car that says Red on You. And then of course I have not ever worn this shirt to school.
No.
I don't want to lose my job or terrify children, but yes, I do have a Shaun of the Dead t-shirt. I just love that. I've seen it so many times.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's just, for me, it's funny. It's the great homage to all the other zombie movies that have been made. But there's also really gruesome and kind of sad parts in it too. But,
absolutely.
One minute you're like horrified at what you're seeing, and then you're laughing like crazy, and then you're sad, like when he had to shoot his mother. I mean, it's just like, it's got everything you'd want in a movie. And I love the tagline where it's a romantic comedy with zombies.
Yes.
Was always my favorite tagline for a movie as well. So,
Didn't they invent the Zomcom?
Zomcoms. That's it.
Yeah.
Zomcom, Romcom, or something is what he was calling them for a while.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It really is.
Like I said before, it's so clever with the intertwining little story threads that pay off later on. It was great to see the stars have spaced back together again.
Yes.
Even if it was for like a split second and then at the end of the movie. But yeah, it was really, and I'm so glad that they did something like Hot Fuzz after rather than Shaun of the Dead 2.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm glad they did something completely different genre. I think it was so better to do that than to try and do another zombie movie. So
yes,
there you go. Great minds, Kirsten. Great minds think alike.
Absolutely. And I so want a pint at the Winchester.
Yes.
Indeed. I actually have, my husband one year got me a t-shirt that says like Winchester, the Winchester
Club,
had the logo. He had to like special order it.
So good.
That's what you call love.
So good. Go on then, Neil. What's your number 1?
So Kristen said it already. It's Dawn of the Dead, 1978. The one in the shopping mall. It's a classic movie. It's a classic zombie movie. It's a classic, again, commentary on on society and what's going on. The consumerism was this one based on. And again, with George Romero, the zombies aren't really the villains at the end of the day. It's the humans and the greed. I like the fact that I love watching them build their base, clear out the shopping mall, and it becomes their home, their base. They sort of protect it. They put the lorries in front, and then along come the bikers and just ruin it for everyone. And that's when everything goes mad. Obviously controversial at the time with the helicopter blade on the head and things like that. But it's Tom Savini's that we spoke about. I just think it's a work of genius. I prefer the director's cut over to the original theatrical cut, if you ever get a chance to see it. A little bit longer, but they've put all the effects back in and the gruesomeness and the commentary. Yeah, it's a really good movie. Really good movie. Ken Foray, wasn't it? He was one of the people who went on to do a bit more, become quite well known in the horror thing. I think he was in Stuart Gordon's From Beyond. If I remember rightly.
Okay.
But yeah, great movie. I could easily. I find that movie one that if it's on telly, I'll just end up watching it. Yeah,
I'll have to look out for that one. I think I might have seen it once, but
I'm sure you would. It's got. I mean, I can't quite get it when I hear it. You'll never get the jingle, the shopping mall jingle, out your head.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And it's so happy for what's going on.
Oh,
So
right.
walking around killing
I know,
zombies.
it's like that contrast. Yeah.
It's huge, but it's a great movie. It really is a good movie.
Very good. Okay, we've got a couple of honourable mentions. Corey Ogilvie says Shaun of the Dead, yes. Rick Tyndall, World War Z and I Am Legend were both really good, but I'll take Shaun of the Dead. I prefer to laugh through zombie apocalypses. Very good. Lisa Buchanan says ditto to Corey. We'll watch Shaun of the Dead every time it comes on. Also love Zombieland with Woody Harrelson. Susie Lima says Shaun of the Dead, Train to Busan, 28 Days Later, Zombieland, Warm Bodies.
That's the one with Nicholas Hoult, isn't it?
That is,
I've not
yes.
seen that,
Yeah, that's where everybody's a zombie, and I think he starts to turn back to sort of human, doesn't he? Yeah. And Abraham Lincoln versus the Zombies. Oh, what a movie
I saw someone had said that one. I was like, I have not seen it. I heard it was terrible.
I think I
was
watched...
that not Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, though?
I think
they did. They made a couple of them. Yeah.
Oh, did they?
They did, yeah. Lindsay Panana, Nello Lindsay from last week. Yay, Kirsten. She says 28 Days Later and World War Z are awesome. Shaun of the Dead is super fun too. Brian Toe, Life After Beth. I'm not sure what that is. Because I will watch Aubrey Plaza in anything. Okay.
All right.
Brandon Watson says double ditto to Corey and Lisa. Audrey Pearson says Shaun of the Dead and both Zombielands. Okay. Return of the Living Dead scared the crap out of me as a kid, but apparently it's a comedy. Question mark.
It is a comedy.
I won't watch it again to find out. And also the classic White Zombie. And Stu Grant says Shaun of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, both versions, Train to Busan, Maggie, which I think it was the Schwarzenegger.
That's questionable.
Zombieland.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but yeah.
I've seen it, but I can remember it being really slow. It was just
and Schwarzenegger's acting in it. Dear me,
that was his sort of one of his movies on his comeback when he been acting for long. And One Cut of the Dead.
That's right. I hadn't. I put that as my honorable mention. I hadn't seen it recently enough to remember why I liked it, but yeah, I had One Cut of the Dead.
What is that one? I've never heard of that one.
It's a movie
Korean again, I think.
Yeah, and it's basically people who are trying to make a movie, and he wants to do this whole scene in one cut, and there's making a zombie movie, but during the making of the zombie movie, real zombies come and start attacking the people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's funny, but like I said, movie within a movie. So it's got like 3 parts. The first part is them doing the recording, and then the second part is where you see what's kind of happening, and then the third part is like what happens after, if I recall correctly. It's been a while since I'd seen that one, so I put that as an honorable mention.
Right, 2017.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Good movie, especially
there's
if you
another
can find
one,
it.
The Girl with All the Gifts. I don't know if anyone can remember that.
That one was hard to find. I had I put that on my list to watch recently, but I hadn't been able to find it. But I did another honorable mention. I had was called Little Monsters.
Yes, that's Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah,
I watched that the other day. It was actually very cute.
Yes,
very fun. Yes. Yeah.
a lot of fun. Well, there we go. We've done it. Kirsten and myself, we were right. We got ours right with our number one, and Neil ruined it. We couldn't have had a full sweep there, but never mind.
Sorry.
Next time. Next time.
We were nearly there. I think it's only ever happened once, hasn't it? Where we all had
I think so.
Yes, it was parody movies, wasn't it? With Airplane.
Right.
That's the Airplane we've had so far. Yes. Before we say our goodbyes or anything like that, I want to say hello to our new Patreon top head, Liz Edson. So hello, Liz. Thank you very much for your support, and we hope you enjoy all your extra content that you get. So thank you very much, Liz. It's much appreciated. And also to you, Kirsten, thank you so much for your support and for being a top head and all of that. Honestly, it genuinely keeps our lights on. It genuinely does. We don't say that as like a throwaway thing. It genuinely keeps the lights on and keeps the podcast going. So thank you so much. But we'll say our proper goodbyes in a second. Neil, tell everybody how they can get in touch and all that gubbins.
Like Pav said, thank you very much, Pav. Like Pav said, you can join us on Patreon there, patreon.com/top10pods. You can get all sorts of rewards like being a top head and being on the show yourself. Do please come along and join the fun. Email us at toptenpods@hotmail.com. You can find us on all the social medias. Give us a click, give us a like, give us a follow, and then check out our links via the Linktree. You can find the link in the show notes. And please do come leave us a review and rating wherever you get your podcast from. Be much appreciated.
Wonderful. I have to say thank you to my daughter for my folklore Pavo's
Nice.
version sippy cup, which I know this will be now my podcasting cup.
Advertising a certain coffee brand on it.
No, I'm advertising a certain wonderful lady. Folklore
That's
is obviously
all over it.
is,
Yeah.
Taylor
Yeah,
Swift.
that's
you see.
Taylor Swift on there in that
That's
green.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
Oh,
And
is
also
it?
I am now registered to possibly get a code that may give me a link to a possible chance of getting tickets to see Taylor Swift next year. There's a lot of jumps to jump through.
So hard. Yeah, I've heard she played here in Massachusetts about a month ago, and the people I knew that went loved it, but just getting tickets was horrible.
It's going to be a nightmare, and there's
Yeah.
no way I'm spending more than £500 because I know that they're going to be like £1,000 a ticket. But anyway, that's by the by. Zombie movies done. Thank you,
Yes.
Kirsten, so much.
Anytime.
We will sort out your return so you can get the
Okay.
hat trick and with your wonderful hat on. Thank you
Okay.
for wearing one of your legendary T-shirts. I love that on Facebook, seeing what T-shirt. I wonder what T-shirt Kirsten's wearing today. I love watching all those. So thank you so much. Honestly, your support really means the world to us.
It really does.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent. And I take it now you've got a lot of time off now. Is that right? In summer holidays?
Yes, until the middle of August.
Wow.
I do. I'm very, very happy.
Excellent. And are you
imagine.
just relaxing and chilling, or are you going on holiday, or?
I'm going to go to Maine. My family's from Maine, so I don't get up to where Allie is. I'm going to go visit the beach. Going to spend some time with my family. We might do some
Nice.
just a little bit of traveling to like New York City or maybe Washington D.C. Just because my son, he's 10 and he's starting to get into the age where he's really interested in learning about history. So we're going to
Excellent.
do some of that stuff with him. So
Well, you have a wonderful summer. You have a lovely, lovely, safe and wonderful time. Neil, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pav. Thank you very much, Kirsten. Like Pav said, it does mean the world to us, all your support. It really, really does. So humbly, thank you so much. And I love the hat. You rock it well.
It is fantastic.
Genuinely.
Fantastic. So thank you, Neil. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And let's go start the count.
10, 9,